vote. The yeas are 219, the nays are 206.
The Democratic-controlled U.S. House of Representatives gave final approval by a vote of 219 to 206 on Tuesday to a Senate-passed bill temporarily raising the government's borrowing limit to $28.9 trillion, putting off the risk of a historic default until early December. Democrats, who narrowly control the House, stayed unified, passing the hard-fought $480 billion debt limit increase, getting no support from Republicans, pushing back for now an October 18th deadline when the Treasury Department would no longer have the ability to make debt payments to lenders. Looking past Tuesday's vote, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told reporters she hoped there could be a future bipartisan solution to the debt ceiling issue, despite top Senate Republican Mitch McConnell's warning that his party will not help next time. She also repeated that Democrats do not want to use a procedural maneuver called reconciliation to raise the ceiling. That is precisely what Democrats will need to do to get the December hike through the Senate if Republicans try to block them and no other solution is found. The Senate's vote last week to raise the limit, which had been more routine before the current era of fierce partisanship, turned into a brawl. In fact, the debt ceiling vote is to cover past spending already approved by Congress, including during Republican Donald Trump's presidency, which ended just 9 months ago.
I'm optimistic that these decisions have to be made.
Pelosi said she is hopeful that Democrats can work out changes to reduce the cost of their social policy plans in a timely fashion.
I'm very disappointed that we're not going with the original $3.5 trillion, which was very transformative.
Biden earlier this month suggested $2 trillion for the massive spending plan, after moderate Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema both said they would not support the measure's $3.5 trillion cost. Meanwhile, Biden's separate bipartisan $1 trillion infrastructure bill is hanging in the balance, as progressives say they won't vote for one without the other.
All right, Shalom, all praises.
Learn.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Quick show to the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Not only y'all be edified. As you can see, the debt ceiling, another little lifeline, so to speak. But they just prolonging the agony that's coming. It so happens it's going to come in December time frame too, showing that this is all mapped out, and they want this winter to be the most hurtfulest, darkest winter in human history, because everything's leading to the same thing. All right, it's bad enough that this country is in a deficit and is always finding ways to make itself more into deficits. But now they keep prolonging this, the inevitable. And what's that inevitable? The ultimate crash, man. All right. The debt ceiling, I just looked at it through a spirit. Let's see if I can find it. I was looking at World Star. Let me see if I... So the national debt right now is at $28 trillion and counting. This is going faster than a freaking second. All right. So they stalled the spending power. So now they can spend more, and they don't have to pay this back until they can't spend no more. But once again, who are they borrowing from? And why they borrow some goddamn much money? If these people are managing the corporation and owe that much money, it's bound to crash. All right. A couple of scriptures, and I'm gonna make this short because my teeth is bothering me. Through the spirit. Habakkuk 2:6, I believe. Shall they not all take up this parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, saying, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? And that's another thing. A society that's built on debt. First of all, hold on. Let's start again. A society that is built on borrowing, which is debt, it's not truly a functional society. The majority of people cannot afford anything. Let's really look at it. To buy a house, you can't just go and pay cash for a house. Unless you got it like that. Right? You still got to borrow. To buy a car, the same thing. To get a phone, you have to pretty much go on debt. So that means that you could not afford it from the beginning. So the majority of these people cannot afford anything. Alright? So what do? This is a society of wants. Of wanton, delicate they want things of delicacy, you know, things of that's not convenient for them beyond a reach. And here it is, this is the rulers of the society, the bankers, have you in a trick bag to actually believe that you can purchase or you can do certain things that's beyond your means, meaning that you are poorer than you really are. That's why the society is destined to fail. All right. If you do the same, once you have to have an access bank for money, that means you cannot afford it. Once you are working for somebody, that means you cannot afford anything. All right. Because the simple fact is you can't make money on your own. You always have to rely on something. In this society, people rely on the banks, the loans, which just goes back to Proverbs. All right, somebody that's always in want. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Proverbs, I believe Proverbs 20. 27? No, 27. Slovakia. This is the. Oh, it's 22. Sorry. 22. All right. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. And that's what this society is built upon. All right. People that's borrowing from somebody that's above their status and not be able to pay it back. This is what drives America the way it is. But this is not the point I want to get. Verse 16, I believe. Matter of fact, maybe it was further on. It said, he that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. This is what I wanted. It says, he that oppresseth the poor, and who's the poor? Damn near everybody. All right, when you look at the national debt clock, and you look at individual, damn near every individual person, a brand new born baby who don't know nothing about finances, are in debt to who? The international bankers. Okay? That's who they're in debt to. But the point is, he that giveth to the rich. So the things that you asking to borrow, you asking somebody that's richer than you. There's one in it's a rock. Not to go against somebody that's I think son above your status or something like that has more power than you. All right, that you will lose. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to find that. He that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. And that's why the majority of these people are always in base of wanting. All right? This is a supply and demand. So you don't want the substance that's God-given. You want the substance that's people say you can't have. Growing up as a child, in the 80s, there was a show on Channel 7. I believe it was on Thursday nights. 8 o'clock, I think, or 7 o'clock. I'm not too sure. I can't remember the time slot, but it's kind of important because that was the standard bearer for a poor person to look at. And that standard bearer is called the lifestyles of the rich and famous. All right, so you can imagine you're in poverty. You are in want of everything, and you've seen these things the way the rich live. So you want that lifestyle. So some believe if you become a gangster of some sort, I gotta find that particular scripture because it's beautiful. Some believe if you are a gangster, All you gotta do is take what you want, because you have the power to do that. But come to find out, it doesn't matter. Oh, there it is. I found it. It doesn't matter how much strength that you have or the violence that you can do. It's really about who's controlling the narrative. Sirach 8:1, it says, "Strive not with a mighty man, lest thou shalt fall into his hand. Be not of variance with a rich man, lest he overweigh thee. For gold have destroyed many and perverted the hearts of kings." So the way the system is built, that you're always going to be in want. All right, you're always going to need something from them, and that's how they want it. Okay, back at Habakkuk 2:6, it says, "Shall not these take up a parable against him, and taught a proverb against him, saying, Woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his." How long? Because they stole every goddamn thing. All right, everything that he's indulging in is by thievery. But yet, when it's time for the people, the poor of the people, they gotta work extremely hard to get a crumbs from this man that stole everything. All right, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. When you look up the word clay, thick clay. Sorry, it's laden, right? No, it's thick clay. Abatyat, weight of pledges, heavy debts. So this society is just built upon debts. And ultimately, Esau is indebted to the Most High. But when you're talking about in the financial world, yeah, they in debt to the international bankers. All right, borrowing, spending things that they can't afford, because the Lord had put. When you look at the way how the Most High really established riches by substance, real substance, gold, silver, precious stones, and livestock, and people, of course. And if you don't have enough gold, you can't afford to go to war all the time. Now they have a way of always going to war. Fiat currency. All right? Which is backed up by nothing. A belief system. That's why this place is destined to be destroyed, destined to crash. Zephaniah 1:10, "It shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." And that great crashing is going to be in what? Next verse. "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." Because a great crash is coming. The things of a marine state, like we just did a show on it, the brothers breaking it down. One of the main reasons why the Roman Empire was so successful is because it was by the Mediterranean Sea, which every seaport around the area, when you look at the map of Rome, all those main areas was controlled by the sea. These are all seaports. So anything of everything that's going into these countries, they control it. All right? That's one of the main things. But when those accesses are gone, then there's no more trading. Henceforth, no more merchandise, no more anything. But you're seeing that right now. All right, this great drought that's coming. But eventually, this thing is going to pop. All right? It's going to pop. They just prolonging the destruction. And they purposely doing this so they could bring this Revelations 13 and 16 to their own demise. It says, Jeremiah 51 and 7, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And that's her philosophies. That's her ways. All right? And the nations are mad because they're not getting the cut that they thought they was going to get. Behold, I keep saying Slakia. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, no matter how many stimulus packages they would have done. All it did was guarantee more debt. Okay? But she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go everyone to his own country, for her judgment have reached unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So when the things are not coming the way it is, like it normally was, that's when people is going to realize this land of milk and honey that they thought it was, land of gold, silver, this land that was paved in gold is not what it is. And the people is going to try to flee back to their own countries, because America is going to be destroyed. All right. And when this great economical crash happens, and it will happen, there's no turning back. And the only thing they're going to say is the Great Reset, which the Great Reset is going to lead into Revelations, the 13th chapter. So in order for them to get the full control. So this is all part of their plan. But their plan is right where the Lord wants them. And this is going to be the ultimate fall of America the Great. All right, so with that, it's something real quick through the Spirit. This place is destined to be destroyed. No matter how much they try to prolong the inedible, it's going to happen. This place will crash. And it will be the greatest crash in human history. All right? It's going to be worse than the Great Depression. And it's going to be a greater depression, because everything is leading up to it. And then you have, on top of all this, you having this administration basically firing people for not taking that special juice. You know, that juice that people are not coming back alive from, or being crippled from. So they really trying to speed the destruction of the society, man. And they got people right where they want them. All right, dependent. That's like a drug dealer. They got the customers, they got the buyers, they got the fiends, and these people can't get over it because they've been living a certain lifestyle. All right, and that's why like the scripture says in Proverbs 22:16. Matter of fact, I'm gonna end it off on this again. I'm gonna read this again and I'll end it off. Proverbs 22:16. It says, "He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want." I'm gonna read that again. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches. And that's what they're doing. They're oppressing the poor. That's why every city, major city, especially now, they're trying to find ways to squeeze the life out of the poor. You can't go without certain places without a mask. They will find you. And knowing that people don't have the money to that. Just around my neighborhood, 8 o'clock at night, you got the ticket. The people that give traffic tickets, 8 o'clock at night, still fiending to give people tickets. Why? Because they're oppressing the poor. They're not going to run this shit in the rich neighborhood. Okay? So they're squeezing a life, and we're just seeing that. You can't go here. You can't do this. You can't do that. They're squeezing the life out of the poor. To what? To increase their riches. All right? They gave all these supposed rich, all these monies to the people, and yet the people have to pay more back because you have to pay inflation. So this man he's a devil, man. It says, "And he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want," because you never gonna have enough. And that's how this devil wants it. He wants you to be dependent and always coming to him for everything, man. All right? But this system will be destroyed. This system will be overthrown. This is the end for Esau. So with that being said, shalom to the elected nation. Shalom.